It is totally possible to have loops within other loops, and we call these nested loops. So for example, I have this outer loop here for int I equals 0, I is less than 3, I plus plus, and then it opens here and it closes here. But what you'll notice is there's another loop within this loop, this for int j equals 0, j is less than 3, j plus plus. So the way that the code is going to work is first it's going to get into this loop, and we're going to print out I with a colon. At first, I is 0. So we're just going to print out 0 colon. And notice that the system.out.print statement does not have the ln, so it won't enter after. So you'll see 0 colon. And then we'll jump into this for loop. So what's going to happen here is that the loop is going to loop through completion. This inner loop is going to do all the loops and finish its work before moving on. So at first we have int j equals 0. Notice that we're using a new j variable. That way we're not using the I. It is possible to not have this step and to use I in here, or to do j less than I. So you can use this I within here for the loop, but for this one, we're just going to have a new variable, and we're going to call it j equals 0, j is less than 3, j plus plus. And we're going to go into the loop, and we're going to print out j, which is 0. Then we're going to increment j, go through the loop again, print out 1, and then we're going to increment again. 2 is less than 3, so we go in again. We print 2, and then we increment 2 to 3. 3 is not less than 3, so we're done with the loop, and we move on. This system.out.print line statement has an empty quote here. So all it's going to do is print a new line. There's no words or anything or any characters in here, so it's just going to print no characters and then a new line. So that's why we see 0 colon 0, 1, 2. This is the inner loop code. This is the outer loop code. And then we go ahead and enter to the next line. We jump back up here. At this point, I now becomes 1. 1 is less than 3. So we print out 1 colon, and then we get into this loop again, and we're going to print out 0, we're going to print out 1, then we're going to print out 2, and then we're done with the loop. We move on, we enter, and then I increments, right? I increments after every iteration of this big outer loop. So now I becomes 2. We print out 2 colon. We go in here, we do the same thing, 0, 1, 2. And then we go ahead and enter. So that's why we see 0 colon 0, 1, 2. This is an inner loop. Outer loop part, this is the ending of the outer loop part that moves us to the next line. Then we have the second iteration of the outer loop. We have the inner loop again, enter, outer loop, inner loop, and that's what it looks like. I'm gonna have 1 or 2 more videos after this showing a little more bit of examples of this, but this is the gist of nested loops.